Imagine waking up 1 year from today. People come to you for advice. You understand things faster. You solve problems without panicking. And for once, your brain doesn't decide to forget everything 5 minutes before the exam. Now imagine the opposite. Another year goes by. You're still saying, "I'll start tomorrow." You still forget what you studied yesterday. You still feel like everyone else was secretly born with a better brain. Here's the terrifying part. Both futures begin with the exact same 24 hours. The only difference is what you choose to do with them. And no, being smart isn't about being born a genius. Because if intelligence were only about IQ, why do average students become successful entrepreneurs? Why do some college dropouts change the world? And why do people who can solve impossible math problems sometimes forget where they left their own glasses? Our brains are funny like that. Here's what science has discovered. Your brain isn't fixed. It's constantly changing. Every habit you repeat strengthens certain neural pathways while weakening others. In other words, you're already training your brain every single day. The only question is, are you training it to become smarter or just faster at scrolling? Think about your average morning. You wake up. You promise yourself you'll check your phone for just 2 minutes. 30 minutes later, you somehow know the complete life story of a stranger's cat. Congratulations. Your brain has officially completed another workout, just not the one you wanted. Here's the problem. Every endless scroll, every constant notification, every 5-second dopamine hit, they slowly train your brain to crave distraction. And then people wonder why reading one page of a textbook feels like climbing Mount Everest. Here's a weird question. Have you ever opened YouTube to watch one educational video, and 20 minutes later you're watching someone restore a rusty spoon from 1894? No? Just me? Exactly. Our brains love taking shortcuts. That's why becoming smarter isn't about working harder. It's about working with your brain instead of against it. Today, I'm going to show you simple habits that can genuinely make you smarter every single day. No expensive courses. No become Einstein in 24 hours nonsense. And definitely no waking up at 4 a.m. unless you actually want to. Just practical habits backed by psychology and neuroscience. And trust me, the final habit is something almost nobody practices, yet it could completely change how fast you learn. So stick around. Now let's begin. Most people confuse information with intelligence. They watch another video, read another article, save another Instagram post they'll never open again, buy another book, repeat. It feels productive, but it isn't, because information alone doesn't make you smart. Otherwise, Google would have graduated from Harvard years ago. The smartest people aren't the ones who know the most. They're the ones who think the most. Imagine two students. Both read the exact same chapter. The first one closes the book, checks Instagram, answers 3 memes, watches 2 shorts, and somehow ends up shopping for a keyboard he doesn't even need. The second student closes the book and asks, "Why does this work? How could I explain this to someone else? What if the opposite were true?" Who do you think remembers more next week? Exactly. Your brain doesn't grow when it passively collects information. It grows when it struggles to make sense of it. That's why difficult questions are valuable. They're basically push-ups for your brain. And just like real push-ups, they're uncomfortable. But that's exactly why they work. Here's something you can try today. The next time you finish reading a chapter or watching a video, don't immediately jump to the next one. Pause for just 2 minutes. Ask yourself, what are the 3 biggest ideas I learned? Can I explain this to my younger sibling? Or even better, could I explain it without sounding like Wikipedia? Those 2 minutes of thinking will teach you more than 20 minutes of mindless consumption. Because thinking transforms information into understanding. And understanding is what makes people truly smart. But even if you master this habit, there's still one silent enemy destroying your intelligence every single day. The worst part? It's probably in your pocket right now. That enemy sitting in your pocket isn't your phone. It's the way you use it. Imagine someone stole $10 from your wallet every hour. You'd notice pretty quickly. Now imagine someone steals your attention every 5 minutes. Notifications, messages, short videos, random breaking news. You barely notice because it's become normal. Here's the scary truth. Attention is the currency of intelligence. If you can't focus, you can't learn. If you can't learn, you can't become smarter. It's that simple. Researchers have found that after an interruption, it can take several minutes to fully regain focus. Now imagine getting interrupted 20 or 30 times a day. That's like trying to read a book while someone keeps turning the lights off. No wonder studying feels impossible. Here's a challenge. The next time you study, put your phone in another room. Not face down. Not on silent. Another room. Because let's be honest, your phone has a stronger personality than most people. You don't check it because you need to. You check it because your brain expects a tiny reward. And every time you resist that urge, you're training your brain to stay focused longer. Focus isn't a talent. It's a habit. And habits can be trained. Let's play a quick game. Which one makes you smarter? Reading 20 motivational quotes or reading 10 pages of a difficult book? If you picked the second one, you're right. Sorry, Instagram. Your inspirational quote with a sunset background isn't enough. Reading challenging material forces your brain to slow down, to imagine, to connect ideas, to question. It's mental weightlifting. The first feels difficult. You read the same sentence 3 times. Your mind starts thinking about pizza, or that embarrassing thing you said 3 years ago. Again, our brains are weird, but every time you pull your attention back, you're strengthening it. You don't need to start with a 500-page philosophy book. Start with something that stretches your mind just a little beyond your comfort zone. Maybe it's psychology. Maybe it's history. Maybe it's science. The goal isn't to finish the most books. The goal is to finish each page a little smarter than before. And speaking of learning, there's one habit that almost feels like cheating, because it helps you remember information dramatically better. Have you ever noticed something strange? You think you understand a topic until someone asks, "So, can you explain it?" Suddenly your brain says, "Give me a second." That's because recognizing information isn't the same as understanding it. Here's a simple experiment. Learn something new today, then pretend you're explaining it to a 12-year-old. No fancy words, no textbook definitions, just simple language. If you get stuck, you've just discovered exactly what you don't understand yet. And that's incredibly valuable. Even if nobody is around, talk to yourself. Yes, you might look slightly suspicious, but it's still more productive than arguing with strangers in a comment section. Teaching forces your brain to organize ideas, to simplify them, to connect them, and every connection makes that knowledge stronger. That's why teachers often understand subjects better than students. Not because they were born smarter, but because they've explained the same ideas hundreds of times. Now imagine combining every habit you've learned so far. You think deeply. You protect your attention. You read challenging material. You teach what you learn. Sounds powerful, right? It is. But there's one final ingredient missing. Without it, even the smartest people stop growing. And it's probably the habit people avoid the most, because it feels boring. Yet it might be the single greatest advantage you can develop in today's distracted world. So, what's the habit that almost nobody wants to practice? Ironically, it's doing absolutely nothing. Sounds ridiculous, right? But hear me out. Think about the last time you stood in a queue, or waited for a friend, or sat on a bus. What did you do? If you're like most people, your phone magically appeared in your hand before your brain even had time to say, "I'm bored." It's almost like our pockets have developed their own survival instincts. Here's the problem. Boredom isn't your enemy. It's your brain's workshop. When your mind isn't constantly flooded with information, it starts making connections. It reflects. It solves problems. It becomes creative. Have you ever had a brilliant idea while taking a shower? Exactly. The shower isn't magical. Your brain simply had enough quiet to think. Some of history's greatest ideas weren't born in front of a screen. They appeared during walks, long train rides, quiet afternoons, moments when the mind had space to wander. So here's your challenge. Spend just 10 minutes every day, without music, without YouTube, without scrolling. Just think. At first, it'll feel uncomfortable. Your brain will practically beg for entertainment. But after a few days, something interesting happens. You begin noticing ideas you would have missed before. And that's when real thinking begins. Imagine trying to charge your phone with a broken cable. It reaches 12%, then dies again. Frustrating, right? Now imagine treating your brain the same way. Skipping sleep, studying until 2 a.m., then expecting to remember everything the next morning. That's not productivity. That's wishful thinking. Sleep isn't time lost. It's when your brain organizes memories, strengthens learning, and clears out waste built up during the day. Think of it as your brain's nightly software update. And unlike some updates, this one actually improves performance. So if you're sacrificing sleep to become smarter, you might be doing the exact opposite. Now here's the truth that most people ignore. There isn't one magical app, one secret technique, or one life hack that instantly makes you intelligent. Because becoming smarter isn't an event. It's a process. It's choosing to think instead of mindlessly consuming. It's protecting your attention in a world that's constantly trying to steal it. It's reading things that challenge you, teaching what you learn, being comfortable with boredom, and giving your brain the rest it deserves. None of these habits feel dramatic. They won't transform you overnight, but that's exactly why they work. Every day they make you just 1% better. And 1% doesn't sound like much until you repeat it for an entire year. Remember the two futures we imagined at the beginning? One version of you kept waiting for the perfect moment. The other started with one small habit. Today. Not next Monday. Not after exams. Not when motivation magically appears. Because here's the truth. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline stays. And every smart person you admire started as someone who simply refused to stop learning. So ask yourself one question. A year from now, which version of you will exist? The choice doesn't happen tomorrow. It happens the moment this video ends. If you enjoyed this video, don't stop here. Becoming smarter is only half the equation. Because knowledge means very little if you don't have the confidence to use it. So click the video on your screen right now, where I show you how to build confidence step by step. Trust me, pairs perfectly with everything you learned today. And if you found this video helpful, leave a like, subscribe to Curious Elements, and let me know in the comments. Which habit are you starting today? I'll see you in the next one.